Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking another look at Final Burn Alpha, that all-encompassing arcade emulator for the Steam Deck, and absolutely fantastic, this system, as you've seen before. This is the second sort of part as we work our way through the alphabet of the many thousands and thousands of Final Burn Alpha compatible games that exist on this system. Now I will try and give you the names of the games as we go along, and we've got 19 or 20 or so games to have a look at today, and we'll just play sort of a minute or so of each one, and you might see some stuff that you're familiar with. Others, like this particular one, which is called Cameltry. Cameltry, I'd not come across this before, but I actually really like it, so I ended up playing this one for about 10 minutes and going through multiple levels. It sort of reminded me of a PlayStation 1 game called Cooler World, which I'm not sure if you've ever come across that one. That was a bit more 3D than the 2D version that you see there. But basically that was similar, where you sort of roll a ball through a maze. Now these have always been popular with me, and obviously there's lots of these sorts of things on your mobile phone these days, but I guess this would have been quite something, and I don't know if this was ever released for the arcade or if it was for the home computers. Now this is Caveman Ninja, and this one looked very, very similar to one called Umbongo, which was out on the Mega Drive systems. Very similar sort of graphics as well. It's probably just the same era more than anything. But you play that sort of prehistoric guy. It's a platformer, and you sort of walk around. There's the flying dinosaurs, pterodactyls, and you're walking there at the back of like a big Tyrannosaurus Rex. The thing is, it's pretty tough, and a lot of these games that I played this time round were quite unforgiving. Maybe I was just a bit rubbish, but it was good fun all the same, and nice sort of style graphics on this one as well. And I think sort of when I was playing Final Burn Alpha, there is a percentage of games that I just don't bother showing, and that's like the puzzle ones, sort of the Tetris clones, or the Match 3 games and shooting bubbles, those sorts of games, super puzzle ones. I'm not really a massive fan of those, and I don't think many people would really be bothered to play them on the Steam Deck. The same with some of the very, very basic pool games, and pool, sort of snooker, and the very basic video pinball games. Even though I'm a big fan of them, I don't think there's anything really outstanding in Final Burn Alpha, but I'm happy to be corrected, and if there's something, because even by the end of this video we're literally just at the very start of M in the alphabet. We've got a long way to go, and potentially this could be 5 videos, 6 videos even. So if there are particular ones that you'd like me to try, or your sorts of favourite games, do leave a comment below, and I'll include them next time round. But this is a real arcade favourite, wasn't it? Chase HQ, and pretty good fun, this one. I remember playing it back in the day. I'm old enough to remember playing a lot of these games, and playing them now on the Steam Deck through Final Burn Alpha, they are absolutely incredible, because the graphics are a bit rubbish compared to today, but because the screen is shrunk down, they don't look quite as bad as they would on a big screen, or like on a TV screen. But the main thing is the sound that's coming out of it. It's such great speakers on the Steam Deck that the emulated sound is really, really something. It gives you the nostalgic feel as if you were back in the day playing in an arcade, and if you had, say, 6 or 7 of you on a Steam Deck at the same time playing different sorts of arcade games, it would really bring back the feel and the sound and the nostalgia of that period. So this is Dino Rex, which is like a dinosaur fighter. Not something I don't think I've ever seen before. I'm sure back in the day it would have looked quite impressive. Now this is the first of a few shmucks shoot 'em ups that we're going to see today. This is one called Dodonpachi, and it is phenomenal. There's a couple of sequels for it as well. It is just mental. Look at your firepower straight from the off. This is just nuts, and it's fantastic. So playable on the Steam Deck. It was just a delight to play this one. I loved it, and ended up playing it and the sequels for quite a while. But I'm just showing you the first one here, just so you get a taster of it. But Dodonpachi, that's the name, and that one's definitely worth your time. Just look at it. Feels fantastic. Next, we've got a bit of a bona fide classic here, Nintendo's Donkey Kong. And this is obviously the official one, and I couldn't believe how bad I really was at it, because I used to... my local arcade didn't have an official Nintendo, and they had a bootleg. And on the bootleg, it all looked the same, except when you would go up a ladder, you could poke Mario's hand just a touch over at the top of the ladder, and that would stop the barrels falling down on you. That trick doesn't work in this particular version of it on Final Burn Alpha, at least not on this ROM set, so consequently it cost me. There you go, you see I have my little hand poking up there, and that should have stopped that barrel rolling down, but sadly it didn't. So yes, I hold my head in Donkey Kong shame, a game that any self-respecting arcade player should be able to do in their sleep, but it just seems particularly difficult. I don't know, maybe it's a second revision or something, where they've beefed up the difficulty slightly. But I'm no Donkey Kong expert, but I used to be able to go through the first 4 levels literally with my eyes shut. Now this is Double Dragon 3, the Rosetta Stone. I mean, it sounds a bit like an Indiana Jones film, but it is sort of classic Double Dragon action, and I thought, well, everyone's seen the first Double Dragon many times, so I thought I'd just show this one as a bit of a change. I don't really remember playing different versions of Double Dragon back in the day, but I certainly played the game and loved it. What seems to be a little bit different here is you've got the weapon shop. So you see that just to the left there, he's got a shop that he can go in, and we'll have a look at it in a sec. So he's got to clear the initial bad guys coming at him. There we are, and then he goes into the shop, and then for extra money, of course, if you put an extra coin, you can get extra men energy power-ups, you know, it's tricks, so it's pretty cool stuff. Now this is another shooter, and it's called Espgaluda. I think that's how you pronounce it, Espgaluda. And you play this sort of guy with the wings there. It's another mental shooter, I gotta say, but not one I'd even heard of, but I know there's an awful lot of schmucks out there for the various systems, but this is one I'd never played before, and I thought it was good. It was alright, you know, a little bit harder than the last one we had to look at, but good all the same. Yeah, pretty good manic fun. I'm sure you'll be familiar with this one. This is Frogger, of course. A game that I absolutely loved back in the day when this was current, and I remember seeing a couple of my friends were, I would call them like Frogger experts. They were fantastic at it, and you can't believe how quick it does get this game. Absolutely manic. All the cars flying across the bottom, and you got to be pinpoint accurate with your jumps. But equally catchy were the tunes as well. Damn those turtles going under the water. There you go, and even on level 2 things pick up dramatically. Yeah, good stuff. Classic gaming. Now next we've got Galaga. Now Galaga is one of those funny ones. It's like a poor man's Galaxian. I like Galaga, don't get me wrong, and I remember playing it in the day in the arcade, but it was never my favourite. That was always Galaxian. But I thought we'd give it a very quick blast, just to take a look for nostalgic reasons. When you think when this came out, it was about 78, 79, it was pretty early, wasn't it? Now this was the one I really loved. This was Galaxian, and this was fantastic. I think I could probably get, in my absolute heyday of playing this, I could probably get to about level 10 or 11 on this. But there were people who were just absolute experts, and you could see them get to level 25, 26. Huge line of flags along the bottom of the screen. Did have a friend who could do that on Pac-Man. I got fairly good at it. We used to play every Saturday, and he could do, I think it was 144 levels of Pac-Man before the machine broke down. He had a row of keys along the bottom. Absolutely phenomenal. Another real favourite of mine, Gauntlet. Absolutely love the Gauntlet games. Now this was the only one today that didn't play quite as smoothly as I would have liked. I had a little bit of trouble selecting my character at the start, but eventually I was able to at least choose the warrior, whereas I usually like to play the wizard. And yeah, it just didn't feel that great this time round. I'm not really sure why. Possibly the ROM, not sure, but still a great game. I love all the Gauntlet games, and of course, because you've got unlimited coins in effect, you could just go as far into it as you want to, you know. But it was always good fun to play with mates, this one, I always thought. As we thank my Patreon and channel members. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, guys. And brand new supporter this week, he's not got a credit yet, but Super Mario Gamer. He has just joined us this week, so thank you very much to you. You'll be in the next lot of credits when they get revised, which I do about once a month. But yeah, Gauntlet 2, what a great... I love all the Gauntlet games, I really do. Really, really great artwork. Superb. And this is another one that's notoriously tough, and I remember seeing a couple of guys could go all the way through on Ghouls N Ghosts to the end, but I always struggled with this one. It's a tough game. You just got to keep practicing and practicing and practicing, and eventually you'll get it. But yeah, Ghouls N Ghosts, it's just great stuff. Now this is how I choose the games. I'm just having a little look through the Final Burn Alpha menu, and the way it works is, because I've got the Emulationstation front end in, it gives you that little preview of the game, so you know you've got an idea of the sort of game that you're playing. It gives you a little bit of a write-up on it, and that can also go full screen as well if you want. And this is how I sort of choose the different games that I'm going to show you. And as I said, they're just sorted A to Z. It really is fantastic. No more having to guess what the game might be. And if I had time, I'd go through the entire lot one by one. As you can see, there's an awful lot. Thousands. I think there's about 6,000 games in there. It's just nuts. So I try and do a little mix of ones that I've heard of. So Hang On, very much remember playing this back in the day, and this is one of the ones that actually had a bike version. There was like a sit down that you'd sit on the bike and tilt it over as you were sort of going around the course. And this was the direct precursor to Outrun. It was a pretty cool game. I seem to remember I completed it back in the day, but it wasn't until Outrun came along that I really got the bug for these sorts of games. But this was always a good one. Right, so this is Hyper Street Fighter II, the Anniversary Edition, which is the most convoluted title ever, but you know what to expect with one of these. This is In the Hunt. Now I love playing this one on the PlayStation 1. It's just fantastic. It's from the same company that made the Metal Slug games, and you can possibly recognise the sort of same style of cartoony like artwork in the graphics. But obviously you're at a submarine in this particular one, and you have to be aware of the action in front of you as well as through the surface. And it is a great game. But also quite difficult as well. But as I said, I've played this a lot on the PlayStation 1. Never really played it in the arcade, don't even remember seeing it. I remember seeing Metal Slug, of course, but not this one. But it's great, it plays fantastic. Great game. now we've got Kung Fu Master. This was in virtually every arcade, wasn't it? And I got to admit, until I got the hang of it, I was incredibly bad there. So instantly dead. Thankfully did a tiny bit better second time round. Now this was a sort of a cheaper Pac-Man clone called Ladybug, and I do remember playing this back in the day and going around the maze, but you could sort of go through, some of the walls were like tiles, and you could go through, and that would be the only way you could actually complete the course. But I'd pretty much forgotten all about it until I saw it listed here in Final Burn Alpha. I thought, oh wow, I remember that one. Not particularly good, but it is what it is. Now, the last one we're going to look at today is the very first Marvel Superheroes game. Absolutely fantastic. Had many later iterations on the home consoles, but this is the very first original arcade game, and it is incredibly playable. I just chose Spider-Man as my first character against Captain America. It just plays fantastic. The rounds are a little bit long for me personally, but definitely a great game, and you can see really nice colourful graphics. It's a lot of fun, this one. Can't quite believe how high Spider-Man can jump. So there we are. So that's it for this instalment of the Final Burn Alpha look at. Now, as I said, I do intend doing at least 2 more, maybe 3 more. And as you can see, we've just got to M in the alphabet. So if there's a particular game or 2 that you'd like to see in the next sort of batch from M onwards, or ones that you think I should have played but didn't on the first 2 videos, do please drop a comment below, and I'll make a point of including them next time round. So that's it for today's Steam Deck video. Thanks very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I'm doing these every couple of weeks now. Now the Steam Deck's been out a while, and I've got lots of other content on the channel which has been backing up a little bit. But do please hit that like button if you have enjoyed it, and do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage Steam Deck content. Thanks very much for watching today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.